Yes, guys, we are live. I'm here live and direct from the Maldives. I've just shot the podcast, and as I came out of the podcast recording, the news has just broken. The news has just dropped. Erik Ten Hag has been sacked as the Manchester United manager. We've been discussing it on the pod, so go back and watch that. And our thoughts, myself and Patrice Ever are on there with Joel Beya. I've just walked back down to my family on the beach here in the Maldives Cyan World, and I have been inundated with shouts, ridicule, banter. People, what do you think, Rio? On the beach, while my feet were in the sand, in the sea, about Erik Ten Hag being sacked. Wow, am I surprised? No. But listen, guys, make sure you get all your questions in. Get in the chat, put your questions in, fire them in. I'll answer as many as I can here from the beach in the Maldives. But it's just mad, man. Man United, man, a club going to go for a new direction now, changing things up. Ineos, they've come in to control the football operations, and this is their first big decision that they've had to make, or second big decision. The first decision they had to make was, will we keep Erik Ten Hag after the season was finished? The FA Cup win obviously changed their judgment because they're interviewing managers, and now they've gone in and they've made the call. A new manager is needed. So listen, man, again, get your questions in, guys. I'm here live and direct from my holidays. I've taken time out of my holidays because this is such big news. During the season, Man United have sacked the manager, Erik Ten Hag, man. Wow. I need my guys to keep coming in the chat as well. George, all the guys, just throw stuff at me, man. And I'm ready to hit. We're trying to get Steon to come and speak about this. But I look at Ineos and I think about the way that things panned out at the end of the season. Did they back themselves into a corner with the way they handled stuff in the summer? I think, retrospective, if they look back, I think they'll look back and go, do you know what, we could have handled it differently. We could have handled it better. I think having a manager in place and actively looking for new managers and it becoming public knowledge, I think, isn't a great way to do it. Isn't a great way to advertise for the job. It's hard for the guy coming in to come in under that cloud. And it's also even harder for the guy who's in that seat, in the hot seat, still the manager. And then they keep him in as manager and he has to face and field questions constantly about he's standing within the organisation because Man United were looking at and talking to potential new managers while he was sitting in the hot seat. Not a great way to start, I don't think. But I think, listen, it's difficult. It's hard. It's not easy to do this. It's not easy to kind of navigate through a situation that is so public, a club the size of Manchester United. But I think, if they're honest, Ineos, they could have done that in a better way. And I think in time, in down the line, when we look back, I think they'll be in 100% agreement. But it is what it is. We are where we are. They kept the man in charge. Season kicks in. I actually thought we were starting to see some new signs at the first 2 or 3 games, and then we get beat by Liverpool, and we never recovered. It was like a boxer getting hit and knocked down in the third round, and never recovering and getting knocked down every single round on the way to the 12th round. And finally, we're here. The fight's been called off in the last round for the manager, and I think now we're going to go to a new direction. One of the things I would say, bringing in the new coaches, a lot of the questions are going to be asked now. Was that with the thought of this happening here now, where we are now, that Ten Hag being sacked and they've got their coaches they want in place? Or was it Erik Ten Hag bringing those coaches in, and now Man United and Ineos have to work out an exit strategy with those guys now? I think time will tell. We'll see now the method behind the madness in the coming weeks, because if the 2 coaches, Ruud van Nistelrooy and his partner, stay there, then I think this was done with a long-term thinking of this may happen. But 1 win in 8 games for Ten Hag it isn't great, and I don't think he or anybody else is surprised with this. My big thing is taking so long. One of the main best candidates that was sitting out there was probably Thomas Tuchel, and he's gone now. He's become England manager, and England fans will be delighted with that. But I think Man United will be looking at that maybe and saying, maybe, is that one that got away? Does Ruud van Nistelrooy now come in? Does Ruud come in to be the next line and be their safety net, be the safety blanket that they were talking and envisaging before? Was this always the plan, that Ruud van Nistelrooy was going to be the guy to come in and take over the reins? It seemed like that from the outset. It seemed like he was brought in to be that guy, but they played it down. And I think the next press conference is going to be a real good one to see that and where we are. I think Ruud being asked to take on the interim role. What else can Ruud say, man? This is a dream case scenario. This has played out the best way Ruud van Nistelrooy. He won't tell us this. He won't say that. But this has played out the best way possible for him. Comes in the background, denying any kind of knowledge of wanting to be the manager, any desires to be the manager. But thinking, if this guy lets up, if he doesn't produce the goods, I'm sitting in the wings waiting to take over the reins. And I think that's it. I think Ruud brings there's a calming authority that he's got. I've seen him in the camp. The players respect and like him. I spoke to a number of the players and they love working with him so far. But it's always going to be different when you're the coach. There ain't that same pressure. Will he change under the pressure of and the focus of being a manager now? Will he be the same Ruud that's been in the building for the last few weeks? We're going to see now. Ruud was the most ruthless finisher that I ever played with. Ruud van Nistelrooy is the most ruthless manager that we need. We need a ruthless manager. We need a manager to come in and go to the guys, you know what? You ain't doing the job. Get out. Go and sit on that bench. Go and sit over there and wait now and watch how these guys can do things. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult, but I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, he knows the fabric of the place. He knows what the demands and the expectations are at Manchester United. But a large part of these players are Erik Ten Hag's players. Erik Ten Hag recruited a large part of this squad now. And Ruud van Nistelrooy right now as the interim manager has to work with that squad. And then you look further ahead, the replacement of the manager, what are they going to do with this squad? Because this is a bunch of players that have underperformed for numerous managers now. Some of these players have been here from 1, 2, 3 managers, right? And we've still had the same results where it hasn't been performing, hasn't been consistent enough, and haven't challenged for anything of any sort, especially the Premier League. Someone's got to come in and change that now. Change the whole dynamics of this squad. And it's going to be difficult because these guys are in a rut. These guys are in a position where they're used to falling short. They're used to not being able to compete with the best teams. How do you go about changing that culture? This is down to Ruud, man. Right now, he's the interim manager. He's got to change that culture. And you look at it, we've got a question from Fosto. Ruud is experienced as a coach with PSV, but we need to get Nagelsmann before somebody else snatches him. I could have said the same about Thomas Tuchel. Nagelsmann, experienced coaching at Bayern Munich, a huge club in Europe. Yeah, man, it's a difficult one. I wouldn't mind seeing Ruud get a go. I've got to be honest with you. I want to see Ruud get a go. He's there. He's been in there to do a little bit of seeing who's what. He isn't going to be struggling to find who's the guy, who isn't, who are good, who are bad, who's performed, who hasn't, who's consistent, who isn't. He's been in the building, he's seen it. He's seen who are the jokers in the pack. He's seen who the guys that he thinks might be half-stepping, half-hearted, excuse makers, the guys that ain't quite up to it. From not only a technical standpoint, but mentality standpoint. He knows the mentality required to win at this football club. He's been there with the best of the guys over the years. So I'd like to see Ruud maybe get it, man. Question from James. Tell people to get them in on the live stream. Will Ruud bring it back to the United way like Solskjaer did? Solskjaer did, man. That's why I said give him the contract. That's why I said. That's why I became a meme, because he was performing at that time in a way that we wanted to see. Can Ruud get this team performing to a way that we love to see Man United play? Exciting, attacking, aggressive football that Man United need and want. This is what we're used to seeing, man. It's going to be difficult. It ain't going to be easy. This squad need a huge rebuild. And I'm not talking about just personnel. I'm talking about in terms of culture. I'm talking in terms of confidence. Confidence is a huge thing. Don't matter who you are. Don't matter who you are. Don't matter what quality of player you are. Sunday League up to the best players in the world. If the confidence is lacking, you are not going to perform. So someone has to come in there and reinvigorate this place, restart this place, reboot it, and inject some confidence and some belief into this team, because we are now sitting 14th in the Premier League, and that is nowhere near good enough. LC98 asks if I agree that the players have let him down. Yes, the players have let him down. I think Erik Ten Hag hasn't performed to where is expected at this football club, but I think also the players have to take a large portion of that blame as well. You look at the game of the weekend, that encapsulates what it's been like at Man United for a long time. maybe tactically at times naive, conceding chances and goals, but also not finishing chances. Individuals getting in good areas and not finishing and not being clinical enough. Not everything's about the manager. There's some things about the manager. You look at the bigger picture, not having a real identity or style of play that we can identify with and go, you know what, that's the way we're playing every week and it looks good or it doesn't look good, but it's a style of play that we're buying into. We didn't see that over the course of Erik Ten Hag staying there over a long, sustained period of time. And as well as that, the players have to take responsibility. Hold your hands up and say, we weren't good enough either, and we aim to do better. The next guy coming in, we're behind you, and we're going to go. Roll our sleeves up and work as hard as we can, because that's what Man United players do. That's the DNA of Man United players. Before anything, you work hard. You give your all, and we need that. So Fabrizio Romano, he's the gospel. We've got one of them on our team as well. But Fabrizio has come out, yep, decision on Ruud has been made. He is interim according to Fabrizio Romano. Next manager odds, Ruud is 2-5 on. Ruben Amorim is the sporting manager, 3-1. Southgate 7-2. Thomas Frank and Xavi 5-1. Who would I have? You know what? I'd probably give it to Ruud right now. He's in the hot seat. He's seen the place. Like I say, it's not going to be a big upheaval in terms of knowing and getting to know players. He knows them all right now. I could see Thomas Frank. I could see Xavi. I can see all of the guys. Oh, it's hard, man. But difficult. But Xavi, if we could get someone like him playing football the way Barcelona did with that aggressive football, he won the league when he was at Barca, introducing young players into the team. He brought Lamine Yamal. That's what Man United's DNA is about as well. I don't know. Steve's just joined the chat. What's going on, Steve?
I'm shocked, mate. I don't know about you. I mean, I knew the run we were on weren't the best run anyone's ever seen this football club, but I thought after the decision in the summer where they sort of backed him and then the decision a couple of weeks ago where they did the same, what was the trigger against West Ham to make it happen? And I agree with what you're saying there. There isn't a standout candidate that I can see that you go, oh, he's available and we're going to go get him. I mean, what's the word? Is Xavi what we're thinking?
I don't know. I saw his kid on a post yesterday. His wife posted something yesterday. His kid had a Man United shirt on. So I don't know if that's a sign in that direction or not, or it was just good placement from his wife. I'm not sure. But like you say, I don't know who's the standout. Listen, Brandon Reisner comes in with a question. Where do we go from here, though? Rashford leaves. Who gets hired permanently? We have a squad of Dutch league players, basically. It's a complete redo. That's one of my biggest fears. That is we said it before, the recruitment has been so lopsided that I think is kind of catered to a manager and individuals' likes and preferences, not the football club, which should be first and foremost.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the problem the last 11 years, though, hasn't it? Like, there's not been a lot of direction. And, even Ten Hag was obviously always going to get the blame for what happened with the signing of Anthony. But if the club had identified Anthony was worth 30 million, who at that football club then sanctioned the buyer of him for 80 million? It makes no sense if they decided he was only worth less than half now. I think it makes a good point that you're going to have a lot of players here that you've got a lot of Dutch players, but when you look at a lot of those signings, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, I don't think there's a manager in the world who comes in and wants to get rid of those players. I think they're fine. I think the likes of Anthony and maybe some of the others, maybe they do, but I still think that whoever you come in, and obviously Ruud's taking charge now, I don't know if that's the end of the season or just until they appoint someone, is he going to magically make them score the goals that they missed yesterday? Because that's the issue. It's been goals all season. Where's the goals coming from?
Steve, I'm going to go back to that moment that we saw, and I want the guys to play it on our channel, where Ruud was talking to the manager on the bench. I think his ideas and the way he sees things are different to Ten Hag. Just from that little snippet that we saw there, and I know we're only kind of punching in the sky, and we're looking for little like nuances and reasons. I just think Ruud sees things different, and I'd back my ex-teammate to be able to pull some more out of most of these players if he's in the hot seat.
Well,
I'm not saying he's going to be the answer. I'm just saying I think there'll be more to get out of someone like Ruud. Maybe I think he has a personality. He's warm. He can bring people together. I was walking around a training ground not so long ago, and I'm hearing people talk so positively about Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I think he just didn't have the autonomy. He didn't have the authority to kind of implement his own personal ideas onto this team, and rightly so. He's not the manager. He's not come in as a coach. But now we're going to see really what Ruud van Nistelrooy is made of. Harry Pinero, what's going on?
All right, hold on. First and foremost, it's always good to start off your Monday with a sip of water. That's the first thing. Sip your water. Stay happy and hydrated. Now, look, before I start and I explain how I feel, I want to thank Ten Hag for those trophies, first and foremost, because that's one thing that we haven't had for a long time is some trophies, right? But you see style of football, you see DNA, it's been missing for a very long time. So I'm hoping that whoever comes in, whether or not it's Ruud or whoever it is, they adopt a style of football because I've been watching Man United for the last 10 years and I can't remember a time, bar Oli and probably Jose, where we've had an identity. And I felt like with Ten Hag, he lost that. There was game by game, it was literally moments of brilliance. But yesterday it's a bit crazy because I can't even blame him for that loss yesterday. We should have took our chances.
I don't
We
think it's
actually
about yesterday. I
no,
think we're small-minded if we're thinking it's about yesterday. This is the bigger
no, of
picture.
course not, of course not.
We're
But I
14th,
think the
Harry.
main thing with Ten Hag has just been
One
it
winning
just
8.
doesn't.
Harry, we're 14th and 1 in winning 8. What's going on? They can't make excuses.
No,
there,
no,
please.
literally. But do you know what's so crazy, boys? Yeah, I'm immune to the pain now. Like I've taken it as United we're a bottom barrel team at this precise moment. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And for me, I felt like Ten Hag's job was to implement whatever he was supposed to, what he was literally spoken about highly about in Ajax, which was playing fast forward football, keeping the ball moving, scoring goals. And I don't think United did that enough, especially
Do you know
under Ten
what I
Hag.
think, guys? Do you know what I think? One of the questions we just had, whose job is it to implement the style of play identity? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it should be. I think Ineos, who are handling football operations, the people that are really about the football, they should have an identity that this club adheres to from top to bottom. This is the way we're going to play. This is our DNA. And if a manager comes in, he might tweak things. There might be nuances that he tweaks. But what runs through the thread of this football club is a certain DNA of football that you have to be true to. And little bits and tweak, that's it. Yeah. Man City do that. Bayern do it. We'll see Man City do that when Pep leaves. But that's what they've done when they brought in the director of football, etc., behind the scenes, Cheeky and those guys. And then Pep comes in and adheres to that. Bayern Munich do that. Barcelona do that. Real Madrid do that. They're the best teams in the world. Ajax do that. The best teams in the world do that. Man United have gone away from who we are. When we went to Louis van Gaal, when we went to Jose Mourinho, Oli brought it back for a little snippet of time, and then we went away from it again with Erik Ten Hag. We need to get back to what is Manchester United's fast front foot football.
Ruud has played it. Can he teach it?
Can he deliver it? Can Ruud van Nistelrooy deliver what he thought, what he knew, what he fought for, what he knew, what he delivered on? Can he go and deliver that?
You know Ruud more than me and Steve, right? What do you reckon his idea of football should be? And do you reckon he can implement it? Because I remember seeing them argue. I think he had a difference of opinion in the way they should have been playing. And to me, I liked that. That showed that he's not happy with the way things are. But, we've seen what he can do in Holland. But this is a bigger task. This is Man United. This is being part of the resurrection, so to speak, of something that has been dead for a long time.
His biggest thing is to try and instill some confidence in a team that looked bereft of confidence, that had no idea of what seemed to me consistently as to how they were going to play. Can he get them to start thinking along a certain way of playing football consistently? It's all right for one game. You're not going to get judged on the one game. If I see 5, 6, 7 games on the bounce, I don't care if we win 3, lose 2, and draw 1, right? Or whatever like that, around that kind of average, right? But if I see consistency with application, with desire, ambition, with the way they're going to play football, a DNA and an identity, right? Then you can start believing. But if we're getting fragmented performances that are so up and down from one week to the other, where if you was someone who was a betting man, Man United would be one of your last bets right now. Or actually, they might be one of your first bets to know that they're going to throw away a couple of goals.
Yeah, I agree. I think
if this is Southgate that comes in permanently, can I riot? Is that all right?
Yeah, I'll be there with you. I'll be there with you. I'll be there with you, Steve. We just need. Oh,
come on.
All right, boys. I'm out, man.
I'm losing signal, boys. I'm gonna have to leave.
I'm losing signal as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Your has been a joke since day one, mate. I've been watching the whole stream. Listen, Harry, I don't know why you're shining on top there. The beam's on top. Listen, I've got one question for all of you guys. I want to know a serious question. What's the expectation now for the rest of the season?
Enjoy football again. I want to enjoy watching our team. Like, I want to be able to see our players be free and be able to do what we know they can do. We've got a lot of talented players. I think that Ruud van Nistelrooy's job is like what Rio said earlier before you came on the call, is to make sure that there's some sort of consistency with our performances. Yesterday, we proved that we can create chances, but it's about finishing them. And ultimately, it's a results business, and that's something that we haven't been able to be consistent in. We're 14th in the league. We've only got 3 points from 3 games in the Europa League. It just says a lot about where we're at right now. I just want consistency. I don't care about results. I don't care about winning the league because it's out of the question. It's about consistency, building up confidence, and taking it from there. This is now about taking each game as it comes. The pressure on Ten Hag is gone now. We can get rid of that. Now it's about what can we do moving forward.
See?
Not be 14th, come May.
Yeah, exactly. Simple as that. Get us up the league and give us some confidence. It's not even a joke because we've been a joke.
Not B14. Okay. And a few weeks ago, I had a massive row with Steve, and I said to him that I reckon you should get in Van Nistelrooy come to the end of the season and you see where the landscape is. When you're looking at Van Nistelrooy now, are you happy that he's in? Or are you just happy that Ten Hag's gone? What's the actual feeling?
It did feel like it was kind of like an unknown, everybody knew secret, really, wasn't it? Like it was going to be interim at some point. A bit weird, though.
It's weird, isn't it? I think, how many games in are we in this season?
9 or 8?
8 games in, and I've basically written the season off already. How is that possible? When has that ever been a thing?
Yeah, we're closer to the Championship than we are to Man City.
I have written Man United's chances off for any success this season after 8 games. And my expectations now and my desires for the season, the bar is so low at the moment. But that's why I think this is a tantalising opportunity for someone like Ruud. Because the bar's so low, he hasn't really got to do much to improve. We're 14th.
So sorry, I didn't hear that. My reception cut out. You where?
All right, guys, I've got to
go.
Up.
All right, cool.
I've got to go now. I've got to go.
Bye.
I'm not being belittled anymore.
Bye.
See you later, guys. That's us done, man. Well, that's me from the beach in the Maldives, guys. I really appreciate you all coming on. A surprise to some, not to myself. And I'll be kind of coming back in at some point. I'm coming home soon, man. And I'm going to face the noise. Man United, we need more. I'm begging it, please. Ruud, produce some miracles, man. You made some great days, some great memories for me when I was a teammate. Ruthless in front of goal. Delivered for us on the pitch. Please be the same from the dugout. I'm begging you. I wish you all the best, bro. You want to do a quick Q&A before I go? Q&A on Super Chat. Let's go. Come on, quick Q&A on Super Chat. Fire in the questions, guys. Fire in some questions. I'm going to do 2 or 3 before I go. My wife is staring at me from over there, giving me the evils, as every man understands that. Right, the Ronaldo 980. Hey, Rio, was it a lack of experience with Ten Hag? The Dutch league is not the EPL. That could be thrown at him, yeah. But listen, at the end of the day, I think 3 seasons is a long time. I think the manager, he got his way in the transfer market. And he had all of the time and he had all of the tools to kind of go and produce. He just never got it done. And at the end of the day, you have to say he wasn't good enough for the job. That's why the Ineos and Man United have got rid of him. Patrick Cezub, time to realise that we are not a top team in the Premier anymore. Get the academy players in. Young players will fight for the badge. Look at Maino example. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of the young players to know if they're good enough. This isn't the class of 92. We don't know if that's anything like that in the background. We've got some great young players, but are they ready? Are they ready for this yet? So I think you've got to understand that. I agree. We need a big revamp at the football club because what we've seen in the last few years isn't good enough. And the players, like I said, I'll reiterate, have to take a huge part of the blame as well. It isn't just Erik Ten Hag. Shakib is dream. Can you be the next United manager? Well, I'm on a beach right now, and I'm enjoying that with my family, I've got to say. So to become a manager, I'd have to kind of sacrifice that. Do I think that can happen? No, I don't. Not right now. In the future, we have to wait and see. Let's watch this space. But right now, I want to see whoever goes in there. Ruud right now is interim, and whoever comes after, go and do a job. Music Lane, Rio Ferdinand Presents. Do you agree with Ronaldo's interview now? I think it makes sense now. I think Cristiano will be sitting there having a little cup of tea going, now you understand, guys. And listen, it's inevitable. If a manager gets a sack, he wasn't good enough. And I think Cristiano Ronaldo was trying to tell us in a roundabout way, quite direct at times, that he didn't think this was the guy to do the things for Man United that we need. Zoteng TV, honestly, Rio, what took us so long? If this was Real Madrid or Barca, he's gone a long time ago. We need to sack every manager until we get a good one. I understand what you're saying, and I do agree with you. If Real Madrid have this type of... Real Madrid sack managers when they won the Champions League. So it took us a while to get to the bottom of this, but we've got there in the end, and this manager's gone. Now we're going to have to look at something new. But Real Madrid and Barcelona, they do things a little bit different. But Cristiano Ronaldo, we go back to that question before. Cristiano did say on my pod, if you didn't see it, go back to Rio Meets, the first one we done this season with Cristiano Ronaldo. He said, Ten Hag needs to listen to Ruud. Now, did he? Obviously not. I'm Iranian, can't even read that. 1984. Rio, what do you think about De Zerbi coming in? I would have took De Zerbi in the summer. I don't think you're going to get him out of Marseille now. I would have took De Zerbi. He would have been one of my first picks, De Zerbi, because I think he's a fantastic manager who can implement a style of football and create a DNA at a football club. That is what Man United need. So, and he's quite an authoritative manager from what I hear from players, speaking to people like Danny Welbeck and Adam Lallana. Bilal Bussiera, what do you think about Carrick? I see him as a saver. Could be. I think Michael Carrick knows the place. Obviously, he played there for many years, worked there as a coach as well. I don't know, man. It's difficult. Ruud's in there right now. I don't think you can look beyond that. If you're going to go away from Ruud, you've got to go for a bit more experience. Maybe, I don't know. But listen, someone who's been there, done it at Man United and coming in at the club would always get my blessing. My last one I'm going to go for, Messi is GOAT. Hi Rio, huge fan. These are rumours that there are rumours that United are considering Xavi as the next manager. How do you feel about that? Will Xavi do a good job? Well, Xavi has won the league at Barcelona, a club that demands and has pressures similar to Manchester United's, maybe even more. But would I be happy with Xavi? Let's see how Ruud does first, but he wouldn't be someone I'll be going, I don't want him, because there's a style of football that he knows how to play, knows how to manage and get the best out of young players. Man United need that right now. Someone who can get the best out of the current situation. Guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. My wife is over there with my kids waiting for me to get back involved. I've missed half the day, the podcast, now the live. Thank you very much. Catch you soon. Man United, man, please make me smile again. 14th is killing me. Thanks, guys. Good job.